I think I'm live. That's how all streams start, right? You ask if you're live. That's how you know that it's live. Dead quiet. Woohoo claps. All right. Carol says woohoo. I don't know if that's because hi everybody. Oh, now I can hear myself. Terrible mistake. Classic. Hi everybody. Hello. So I wanted to go ahead and make an adventure together. So I'm gonna put a little note here in front of me about how we're gonna structure this stream and put that down. Hi everybody. Good evening. So we welcome to Mystic Arts. My name is Daði. I'm a professional writer and director, and I've been DMing for over 10 years. It's just me right now because AB is over here behind me. I don't know if she's gonna hear me say that and wave, but she's on the computer behind me, and she's not gonna be listening in because this is an adventure I'm gonna prep, but she's gonna play in it, so she's not allowed to know because it'll be full of spoilers. I keep trying to find a good spot to put this little piece of paper where it's not bothering me. Right there, that's fine. So, thanks, William. Thank you. We made a video on Thursday. We uploaded a video on how to use Obsidian for session prep, and this is my preferred campaign management tool. And we are going to have a little look at how I use it from start to finish in order to figure out an adventure. And we're going to world build as we go. We're going to prep an adventure as we go. And over the course of this, we will eventually end up with something I can run for my players just based on what we do here live on stream. So in order for us to even begin, I kind of have to yap a little bit about what my campaign world is like, because I think this is going to be very tough to follow otherwise. Joel, yes, there will be a VOD when we're done. The goal with these streams is there's going to be 3 of them, and 3 streams will be first we're going to do the adventure premise, as in what is this adventure about, what do we do in it, what are we playing, who are the bad guys. Part 2, the adventure outline, as in what happens and what are the major developments, what are the sections of the adventure. And then stream number 3, the first session. I usually spend a lot of time prepping the first session of an adventure, and then when I get to the second session, I spend way less time. Donovan Gustafsson, if you missed our last video on Obsidian, then you're going to get a bit of an intro here, but we're going to go into it as well. You might want to go check out the video as well for a little bit more on why I think this is probably the best campaign management tool I've ever seen, and it wasn't designed to be one. Magnus is here in as a mod today. He's one of my players. He's been told he's not allowed to play the adventure. He instead has mod duty, so everybody be nice to Magnus and make sure if he tells you off, you have to listen to what he has to say. I run a campaign setting. I've been running a campaign setting now for something like the same setting for something like 10 years. That's not actually true. It's probably closer to 7 if we're being legitimate and honest. Förstår du svenska? A little, not a lot, a little. This campaign setting, when I started Dungeon Mastering, I ran a couple of adventures in it, and very quickly I found out I really liked the idea of running an adventure and then running other adventures in that same world and referencing that adventure back to it, and having these NPCs that I set up in one adventure, having them show up in another adventure, or having players from one adventure become NPCs in another adventure. And that way it sort of becomes like my own version of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I am also lucky in that I am just DMing for a small group of players. I don't have to actually sell the product, which means I do a lot of what I call liberally applied inspiration, as in I steal. I am inspired by the Forgotten Realms, or let's be real, Matt Colville, or Matt Mercer, or many other Dungeon Masters, Bentley Mulligan, or sometimes the West Wing, or Eberron, and I take those things and I stick them in my campaign world, and then very quickly they become my own. When I initially get the idea, when I'm working on the premise, I am often working on somebody else's original pitch. But then when I write my own version of it, it becomes mine, and then my players play it, and then it becomes theirs, and eventually it becomes ours, and it's completely our own. So that's kind of the idea that we're going to go into here. We're going to make an adventure based on something I know very little about in my campaign setting, which, like I was saying, I think I've run, this will be the 70th adventure I run in that setting. I think I'm correct in saying. I'll have to double check the massive Excel spreadsheet I have in order to confirm that. But here's the gist. Here's the pitch, and eventually I'll ask you folks to chime in and help me figure out the details. But at the very outset, I want to just tell you what I am excited about, and we'll try and figure out from there what the adventure really is all about. So in my current game, we're running with my main game. It's called Kingmaker. It's not the Pathfinder Adventure Path, although a long time ago, we were inspired by it. And in this Kingmaker adventure, it's set 27 years after this event called the Last War, which is this cataclysmic World War analog event in which all the nations of the world and all the planes fought each other, and we played through that. We played through that for several years, multiple different adventures. Some of them were connected and became campaigns, and others were one-shots or standalone adventures, and they all sort of interconnect. And now our current game is set 27 years after that, and we're playing in the wake of the Last War in this kind of post-war consensus, if you're familiar with the history of planet Earth a little, the most popular campaign setting. But in this adventure we're going to run, it's going to be set during the Last War. So that means that all the nations are fighting, and we are going to be playing, the players are going to be playing an elite team of Special Forces Rangers. And they are going to be conducting an operation, a special operation in enemy territory. And I think they're going to be something like Spec Ops or one of those sort of things. This is all this all ties into my love for spy fiction. When I was a little kid, I used to get into a lot of trouble at school. I used to have to be picked up by my dad frequently from school because I was misbehaving. And he told me that if he didn't have to pick me up for a week, that meant I had behaved, we would go watch a movie. And the first 20 movies we watched were the James Bond movies, from Connery to Brosnan, and thus began my love of espionage fiction. So we're going to make basically like a spy adventure, but in D&D. How does that sound to you folks? Does that make any sense? Special Operations Rangers embedded in enemy territory. Ooh, and the enemy is they're all dwarves. We're going into Fenkara, which is a dwarven continent. I've got on, I'm going to be humming along every now and again the music I've got on in my ears, which I'm not going to stream to you folks, but there we go. Trekeros just ran a heist yesterday. Awesome. Sounds good. Adrian, yeah, spy fiction is awesome. Daði's dad gave him quests. That's right. Very good quest. If I don't have to pick you up from school, because I got a phone call from the dean, or whatever they're called at that age, we get to watch a movie. Quest reward. I got loot. Pete Quicks, thank you so much. That's wow, that's very generous. Thank you so much. Rock and Stone Brothers. These are these hero names? No, the heroes are going to be special forces. They're going to be working for the Atroxian Empire. Hang on. So what we're going to do? I'm going to have to futz around a little bit because I'm going to have to make it so that you can see my screen. Which means step 1 is entering outer space. There we go. And step 2 is this. Aha! There we go. There we go. Look at that. Fantastic. Processed soy. Is that code? Thank you so much, Processed Soy. That's very generous. I'm going to futz around with exactly where I'm positioned. Wow. 10 gifted, what is that, memberships? That's incredible. Thank you. Fantasy Ghost Recon. Yes, that's what this is. This is Fantasy Ghost Recon. If you are into special ops movies and that kind of thing, that is exactly what this is. I think the premise of the adventure is basically there's going to be a whole bunch of bases that are going to be impossible to take on unless the players do something clever, and that's what the adventure is. So, right here, I've got open up. I said it was like Marvel for D&D. This is Phase 4. Let's not talk about Marvel Phase 4, but this is our Phase 4. What happens after the last war? And Untitled Venkara Campaign. We don't know what it's called yet. That's fine. I'm just going to click this. We're now in Obsidian. I've written Untitled Venkara Campaign into the square brackets, and I've created a link, and bam, now we have an empty page, and we can carry on typing away. I'm going to type a bunch, so I'm going to roll up my sleeves. Fantasy Far Cry. Yeah. So, before we do anything, we need to define our terms. So at the very start, I just wanna make sure you guys all know what we're talking about, so that when we're gonna start working together on ideas, you are gonna be able to understand what kind of thing we're going for. Because number one, let's just start typing. We'll worry about formatting after. Remember, the purpose of good note-taking software is that it gets out of your way. Good software of any kind, if you're doing creative, anything creative, what you need is your software to get out of your way. So we're going to just start typing along. Let's say the player characters, we're going to say the heroes, are atroxian soldiers, members of the Special Tactics Branch. Of the Atroxian Armed Forces. They are on assignment in Venkara. Now, if you'll remember the Obsidian video, Anna is permitted to be here. Magnus, I asked her if she wanted to become not a player and instead a moderator, and she seemed very disappointed that that is the fate I decided for her. So she's a wham, managing moderator. Say hi to Anna, everybody. This is not Anna Birna, my girlfriend. This is my friend Anna. So, we're talking about two nations here. Nation number one, Atroxia. Nation number two, Venkara. And I'm going to bring up a map. This is the map. If you watched any of our videos, you have seen, except the Obsidian one, you have seen on the wall behind me a massive map. And the map is huge. I think it's 2.5 meters tall. It was printed by my dad, and eventually, this is the most up-to-date version of the map, and eventually we will print this out and we will plaster it over the old one. But right now we're just going to look at it. So, can I draw on this? Markup. Oh, the pixel quality went to shit. Okay, so this is the map. The Atroxian Empire is this purple blob here, this bit, right here. And the dwarves, there are dwarves all over my world, but they in particular occupy these regions to the north, here, here, and here, right? Now some of these dwarves are good guys, and they've been conquered by the bad guys, and some of them are real bad dudes. And that's the enemies of this faction, enemies of this adventure. So we are going to Venkara. That is this continent over here. This is going to be set maybe a year or two into the last war. The last war was about 3 years of very intense fighting and conflict. And we are going to be playing characters from Atroxia, from the Atroxian Empire, entering Venkara. And here's the thing.
Oh, damn it.
She's playing a game behind me. If you can hear anything, that's AB. She's playing something. Trecuros says, interesting how your world building doesn't seem to have many land borders. Trecuros is a fellow D&D tuber. Everybody, you should go check them out. Yeah, turns out I'm from Iceland, and land borders are sort of a strange fantasy notion to me. So I ended up making a whole bunch of islands, and that is the world we've ended up with. There are some land borders, but they're not as obvious here immediately. 2 nations, right? Atroxia it's all like steampunky. It's 18th century England. It's Age of Sail, muskets, large factories, industrialization. They are the kings of tech and innovation and progress. They are very much that sort of Victorian attitude. Which also means, by the way, they are capitalist, they are colonialist, and there are all kinds of problems with them. I guess in that way, my campaign setting tends to be a little bit grimdark. The factions that are capable of some of the greatest good are often factions that have loads of difficult morality to them. The Venkarans are dwarves, and I think they're basically like Warhammer dwarves. If you've ever played Warhammer Fantasy or Total War Warhammer, I think they are that sort of dwarves. They have like gyrocopters and organ guns and all that kind of stuff. And the special forces are from Atroxia. They're Atroxian special. They have rifles. They have guns. They have magical. Or like anti-magic, basically. And the dwarves have old school word magic. They can speak things into existence by the power of words. And the Atroxians are not used to that. So a lot of the themes of the adventure is going to be tech versus magic, right? Tech versus magic. That's sort of what we're working with. Slayers, yes, Vladislav, exactly. I told my flatmate Ivar, who is not allowed to watch the stream, but I told him I wanted to run this adventure, and he went and found a bunch of minis. Yeah, we're not going to say this. He went and found a bunch of minis that I want to show you folks. I got a whole bunch of... a friend of mine got into Warhammer, bought a bunch of dwarves, and he painted some of them and then gave up, and I bought a lot of them. Ooh. And these are some of those dwarves. Everyone's reacting with a ooh. Look at that. That's the kind of stuff the dwarves have. That's awesome, right? Here we go. Cannons. This is an MCDM mini that we're gonna get painted. Hi Daniel. Hi. We're doing great. Hello from France. Hello France. Never been watched by an entire country. That's amazing. Check these out. Organ gun, stubby little cannon, bolt caster. These are all Warhammer minis. We're just going to use these as the bad guys, right? So literally we're going to look at these minis and we're going to be inspired and we're going to use them as the bad guys. Check them out. We'll have to make stats for these eventually, right? These are the dwarves, the ones we've assembled. You see, this is from his desk. He likes Reese's Pieces. And these are all his paints. He sits at his desk and paints all day. Awesome, right? DM's best friend. Sorry, Magnus. DM's other best friend. You can see these, he's grouped them up. These guys have like crossbows or guns? What do they have? I think those are guns. I think these guys have guns. They have axes, pickaxes. They've got some symbols here. These guys have wings on their helmet. That's probably something, right? What do we do with those? Arthur Dent, TP Cave, they just go through the main gates. Exactly. If the heroes, of which there are only like 5 or 6, if they go through the main gates of the places we're going to build, they're all going to die. Right? They're not going to make it. But they are special forces guys. So my question to them, and this is what the adventure is going to be about, is how are you, special forces guys, going to deal with all this? I don't know how that's going to work yet, but that idea is exciting to me. Sorry, burp. Anyway, Organ Independence. So this was really inspiring. This undead guy, well, we gotta put him somewhere, right? That's an awesome mini from MCDM. We're gonna put it somewhere. Big cannons, gyrocopter. We're gonna have to find an excuse to put a gyrocopter in here. Everybody remember the gyrocopter. Otherwise, what are we doing? Absolute failure. So let's have a zoom. Can we zoom here? Zooming is not working. There we go. So some areas of my map are real detailed. I've got forests and stuff. I've made rivers and I've got all this sort of detail in here. Very proud of this. Spent a lot of time on this. I hope it looks good because otherwise I wasted my time. Gyrocopter chase sequence. Yes. Yeah. Well. Yes, that's good. We'll put a plot objective on the gyrocopter, and then they leave. Yeah, that's awesome. This is Venkara, and you can see there's not as many details, right? With the map, much like with Obsidian, I had to make my peace with the fact that it would not be done. It would be done enough to go onto the wall in the living room, and then we'd bring it back and we'd eventually draw in the details. So one day we'll go figure it out. But I know the capital is Orgard, and I know the Atroxian army, not the player characters, the army itself. Has taken Morocco shores, right? They've made landfall. The Navy has shipped in the, I think, 6th and 7th divisions of the army, and the 6th and 7th division are occupying this territory. And somewhere along the way, our player characters have to secure a route or find something, do something. So they're going to have to go from Morocco shores up to Orgard. What's the PC's goals? I don't know. We have to figure that out. That's what we're going to do today. -1, how long are you targeting this campaign to run? I think it'd be good for like 8 sessions at most. I think like a 6, 8, 10 sort of length would be the adventure. Doesn't have to be very long. Dan, you just missed the opening. Welcome along. Sorry if I'm burping. Hang on. I have anti-burp medicine. I'm gonna take one anti-burp medicine. Kill the captain. Parlay with him. High priority assassination. Yeah, something like that. That's cool. Second time, let's go. So let's screenshot this, right? Sometimes I don't want to open up Photoshop, frankly, because it's huge. It's massive. Halkani Delta. All right, cool words here. Bunch of cool words. Sometimes I don't want to open up Photoshop and do a bunch of work. What I want to do is I want to get shit done. So in order to get shit done, we just scribble. We snipping tool. We get a pen. And hang on, now we're gonna have to go look at some facts. Last war. Let's have a look. The Imperial Armed Forces during the last war. The 6th and 7th Divisions invaded Venkara. All right, great. So we know. Can we get a thinner? 6th and 7th division. Will there be a talking cat? No. No. Destruction of an outpost or important weapon. That is an excellent idea for criminals. Thank you. Yes, that's great. Destabilize powerful defenses at Orgard. Clear the way for the army. So clear the way for the army, I think, is the goal. I think... I don't know how to do that, but I think that's the goal. Are your hexes 24 miles? Yes, these are 24-mile hexes. Sole record of a powerful or dangerous word. Weapon of mass destruction type of word. Right, there's a Dwarven... That's a good idea, Max Stone. That's a good idea. I don't think that's their goal, but I think that's something they could learn about. How big do I tend to make my worlds? These are 24-mile hexes, and I've already closed the map, but they're pretty big. I think the whole world map is like continental US or something like that. I'm not certain. Maybe Magnus will remember. Magnus, do you remember how many hexes across the map was? And we can multiply it by 24 and we can get an answer for that person. To make a route for the army, taking or otherwise weakening that fortress at Glamara would work. No, I think that's a good idea, Cookie Dude, but I think they already have Glamara. So, hang on. So, I think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but I like the attitude. You folks got this. We wrote these sentences here. We've got Atroxian soldiers. You can click here, and this is a little bit of an Obsidian tutorial. Our heroes are Atroxian soldiers. Atroxians, this is a lot of blah blah blah, but Atroxians are basically Victorian English Empire, right? Pipe smoking, all that jazz. The Venkarans are the dwarves. I don't know much more about them. I know that they do 166. There it is. 166 hexes across, 114 from top to bottom. Multiply that by 24, and you've got the size of the world. Yeah, the Atroxians hold this. So the Atroxian battle line is something like that, right? And then the dwarves. You know, I can't with the red. No, Atroxians are purple. Sorry, those are the rules. 6th and 7th divisions. This is like 20,000 soldiers. Huge army. The dwarves have Orgard locked down, and they've got control of everything else. And I think the goal has to be Orgard, right? This here is a river. I know that. I can tell by the way I drew that border. This is going to be a river. I don't know what the river is called yet. Will there be undead soldiers? There will be that one undead mini. Yeah. And there's probably some fortifications along the way. And I think, and this is the Atroxian battle line here, I think it's kind of like that. I also think there's a fleet in here. Here's the pitch. Here it is. The 6th and 7th divisions of the Atroxian army, along with the, hang on, which fleet was it? The 4th fleet. 4th fleet. Sorry, 4th fleet of the Atroxian Navy. It was called the Imperial Navy at this point in time. That's 27 years ago, during the last war. Are unable to make progress because of something. Killing Dwarvish spies, yeah, that's cool. Taking artillery guns before the advance, yeah. Yeah. I need to figure out which final special tactics branch this is. So let's have a look here. This is an article I wrote ages ago about how the Atroxian armed forces. All right, ready? We're gonna little bit of lore nonsense. River locks. That's cool. Yes, river locks. Hang on. Let's bunch of cool ideas. Hang on. Cool ideas. Remember, ideas are like dreams. You gotta write them down before they get away. Gyrocopter chase sequence. That was from Truck Heroes. Arthur Dent says river locks. River locks. That's brilliant. Cookie Dude, I think, said weapons. Word of mass destruction. Fantastic. Yeah, with fortifications, absolutely. So chaos by disrupting communication between the individual Dwarven units. Oh yeah. Hang on, Magnus, I've got a producer in my ear. Spoilers. Hidal suggested earlier, reanimated ancestors. That's cool. MCDM meeting. Yeah. I don't remember what that guy's name is. Dwarf spies. Counter espionage. Let's make this a header. 1, 2, 3, 4, space. Bam. Easy. Lantern, welcome aboard. Do these dwarves live underground? That is a good question. No, I don't think so. I think these are like, what's he called? Hill dwarves? I think they live above ground. There is another faction of dwarves in my world that are all like underground dwarves. I think these are land dwarves. Special tactics. Right, so the Atroxian Emperor and the War Committee are in charge of the war effort. And a lot of that is controlled through the Atroxian Armed Forces. That's the Army, the Navy, the Colonial Guard, the National Defense Service, and the Special Tactics Branch. Our guys work for the Special Tactics Branch. They are not a part of the Army or the Navy, which, by the way, means characters. We need Army guys, Navy guys, and we don't like them. For some reason, we don't like them. Desert dwarves, yeah. Medieval mechs, Claudia, that's awesome. I don't know if that's right for my world, but maybe one medieval mech. One mech couldn't hurt. Mech? Hell yeah. The special tactics guys are sorted into groups. The groups are the expeditionary, reconnaissance, communications, and irregular warfare groups. I don't know which ones we're playing. I don't remember what the differences are, so I want to really quick. It's not the communications group. They do like messaging. The irregular warfare group is covert activities, supply runs, financial support, targeted killings, and state-sanctioned terrorism. Right? Remember what I was saying about grim dark? This is the good guys, but they're gonna do everything they can to win the war. And right now, that means maybe doing something that is morally reprehensible, and that is going to be a part of the adventure. How the players feel about what they're doing, how they achieve their means, that is all going to be something we're going to put onto the players once we get there. So regular warfare group, yeah, Cookie Dude says that sounds good. Reconnaissance group, Gather wartime intelligence on enemy movement, paramilitary activity, or valuable locations, and pass it on to relevant individuals. When passing becomes a monumental task, the group is expected to carry out operations by themselves. We could have it be the recon group. Expeditionary group. The purpose of the expeditionary group is to be released without a tether behind enemy lines. They will locate and destroy vital positions such as bridges, roads, and towers, eliminating enemy supplies such as armor, weapons, food, and entertainment. That sounds like our guys, right? Are they really the good guys, though? That's up to the players, I think. How can we make the dwarves violate the Geneva Convention? Well, here's the thing we're going to do. The dwarves are all slavers. They all have slaves.
Oh, I don't like that word. Yes word, yes word.
Sorry, the prisoners with jobs have armed themselves.
Okay, that's better, that's better.
Sorry, they all have prisoners with jobs. They engage in prison labor. There's Navy guys. Dwarves. They're bad. They have... Rob, welcome along, Rob. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. You are fashionably late. We're just getting to the good stuff anyway. Navy guys, Army guys. Now what we need eventually are I don't know what to call these levels, but I don't mean like terrible to use the word level for this. Like missions, right? Like levels. Like you play a video game, you get to a new level, and it's got new challenges in it. Yeah, unpaid interns. That's right. So I think they're the expeditionary group. I think that's what's going on. That's your background. All right, let's hang on. Let's get some actual work done, right? Taking. Is that the right it's? I don't think so. Magnus would edit this if he were here. Apologize for the Icelandic letters. The Oldfield Empire is what the article for the Atroxian Empire is called, because the Atroxian Empire is now the Atroxian Public, but we're playing this adventure 27 years in the past. If you're just joining us now, we're making an adventure where Atroxian Special Forces, members of the nation of the Atroxian Empire, who is our Victorian England analog, they are sending their special forces to clear the way for the army to carry out an invasion of Venkara, the dwarvish homeland, because they have allied themselves with the enemy. The 6th and 7th divisions, along with the 4th fleet of the Atroxian Navy, are halted at, what was the place called? The Marach Shores. I know we gotta capitalize this properly. Properly. And Karen, they're unable to progress due to Karen fortifications along the. We're gonna need a river name. Aye. Cookie Dude, no, they are Atroxian Special Forces. The Atroxian Empire, during the last war, was the Atroxian Empire. At the end of the last war, it became the Atroxian Republic. Because my wiki doesn't know what year it's in, I had to rename Atroxian Empire to Oldfield Empire to not confuse myself with the Atroxian Republic. River name placeholder. Holden River. Carroll River. Yeah, you caught me. I'm trying to outsource the hardest part. The Val. Dominion. Valur Sigurðarsson. Sæll Valur. Teletros. You know, Teletros is not bad, Rob. Holdfjord. I'm not going to do Icelandic names. There's a different place in my world where everybody speaks Icelandic, and it's not the dwarves. I always leave the names until last, unless I get nothing done. You know, Dan, that makes sense. I think it's time we visit our friend. I think it's time we go visit our friend. Emily at fantasynamegenerators.com. Every DM's best friend. Why do I need Emily? I've got you folks. Can't flood. The Atroxians call the river something different than the locals. We could do that. I'm not necessarily opposed to that. Does she not have a river name generator? I'd hate to out her like this. Assuming she's got a river name generator. Really? Listen, you saw nothing. I'm gonna call it the Teletros. Teletros. I'm gonna call it the Velatros. That's it. I'm happy now. Velatros River. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, everybody. It runs from Orgard, the capital of Ankara, down to, what's it called? Delta? The Halkani Delta. Where it meets the Venkaran Ocean, right? So that's our adventure background. That's the pitch, right? So we have a very simple premise. What is classic about every James Bond movie you've ever watched, I think, is that basically they start off by getting, we see an action scene in the beginning, some crazy action happens, and then we cut to James Bond making out with a lady, and then he goes to the offices in England, and an old man in a tweed jacket is smoking a pipe. That's M. And M says, hang on, Salka's here. She's going to also become moderator. Da-da-da. M smokes a pipe and says, Bond, a satellite went offline. It bounced around a signal that came out of the Caribbean. and we've got a contact for you to meet there. And then James Bond goes to the Caribbean and meets this contact, and by the end of the movie, he has stopped nuclear apocalypse. But in the beginning of the movie, it was just one satellite that went out, and they're going, I wonder what's going on. So, you know, for us, what we're going to tell the expeditionary group is, we cannot make progress up the Velatros River. If we could send the Navy up the river, bombard the fortifications, right? If we could get control of the locks, the river locks, we could send the Navy up the river, they could bombard fortifications while the 6th and 7th Division plow through fort after fort after fort. But before we can do that, we need to ... right? So, what do they need to do? Adrian, Daði named successfully named one river. Good job. Thank you. How big is this river? Huge. It's the lifeblood of these people. It is like we're talking the Rhine or Mississippi or one of those big rivers we don't get in this country, because we don't have big rivers in Iceland. So I get to live in a fantastical alternate reality where big rivers exist. I tell you, the first time I saw one of those rivers, my mind was blown. I was like a little country bumpkin out there, looking at the crazy sights of the Rhine when I was in Cologne, in Germany, and didn't know what to think of myself. My producer, Magnus, is telling me that there's a places and locations category I missed. So, yes, here it is. I just want to make sure that we don't say anything bad about... There it is, river names. See, Emily could have helped us if I had been more patient. My fault, not Emily's. Did you go swimming? No, I didn't go swimming in the Rhine. I don't think that's very smart. Do people go swimming in the Rhine? The primary issue is, what are those called? Star fortresses? Bastions? There's a Dwarven, right? It seems like a basic place to start, right? There's a Dwarven fortification. Destroy a dam. Well, they gotta blow up the first lock, right? They gotta blow up the first lock. Those are called bastions, right? Googling here, hang on. You know these things, bastion forts. Cannonballs just bounce off of these things, right? They're crazy. Changed the way warfare was fought. This stuff. Dwarves make this, right? Artillery is protecting the lock. Prototype powerful war machine is present there. I like where you're at, Tamer, but I think that's something we add. I think we can have there be a note or a missive about a weapon, and then they learn more, right? So the expeditionary forces, they're going to do this one mission. They're going to learn about this thing. They're going to go destroy the first river lock. They're going to blow it up. And then they're going to learn that there's a bunch of stuff that dwarves have up their sleeve. And now the expeditionary force has no recourse except to go chase down and they're going to go chase down all these rumors, and they're going to learn about the word of mass destruction, the reanimated ancestors, right? Rotating tower with multiple cannons. Ooh, yeah, koi fish, that's brilliant. Like it like twists. That's dwarves would make that, right? Bastion isn't really a taxonomical term with specific meaning to fortification. Yeah. What's the river called? It's the Velatros River Locks. Three, right? Fantasy number, not a handful. 3. It's declarative. It's fantasy. 3 river locks. Fortified by star bastions. Let's call them star bastions. On either side. Wouldn't destroying a lock cause flooding downriver? Yeah. Yeah. No, it's dangerous, right? Presumably that would be catastrophic for the farmland and people living on it. Albatross river locks. We're gonna tag these things as we go along. Rotating tower. Can we? So sometimes I need a more fantasy sounding word, and then I go to my friend the source. Listen, we gotta have friends, right? No cookies. Rotating. Can we get a good word for circling, moving, spinning, a whirling, gyral? Yeah. Hey, it's a gyral. It's a gyral tower. Vorticular. What does vorticular mean? I've never seen that before. A whirling mass of rotary motion in a liquid gas flame. Okay, probably not. Can I get an image of... Whoa. Is that Yu-Gi-Oh? Sorry, hang on. Can you guys tell I have undiagnosed ADHD? Gyro. Let's do heavy artillery atop gyro turret. Both AB and Magnus, whose job it is to occasionally edit my writing, tell me I have a lot of run-on sentences. But I've noticed that there's a period here, so I feel pretty proud of myself at the moment. As pertaining to vortices, a vorticannon. Whoa. Fascinating. So, the expeditionary group is assigned by who? We're not there yet. Are assigned to sneak into the river lock, past the fortifications, and detonate the lock to clear the way for the 4th Fleet to sail upriver, who will in turn bombard artillery from the bombard artillery on the shores, bearing the way for the 6th and 7th divisions of the army. Won't destroying the lock make the river unusable? No, now I don't know too much about how river locks work, if I betray my ignorance. Koifish says, what about a military wave machine? Like those are water parks, but super dangerous. Like, yeah, like a water cannon? Like a once again, the producer is in my ear. This is very handy. I should always have Magnus here prepping with me. This is always the best. He says that river locks. Let's Google this. They raise and lower water levels. I know these are at like the Panama Canal and stuff, but I'm thinking like these, you know. But they presumably then also lower and raise water levels. Oh, look at that. Well, that's fascinating. Well, let's think this through though. If it's in this sort of circumstance, like it is here, upper canal, lower canal, if they detonate, what, this bit, is the whole thing unusable? How does that work? Would they need to take control of it? They equalize it, Magnus says. Full-on ship ladder. The water level would drop, so they would become less navigable. You need both doors. Well, that sounds impossible. Okay, so they gotta go take it. They gotta go take the river lock, right? They gotta clear it. Maybe they're using dams instead. Yeah. You need to take control of the river lock and not destroy it. Well, I mean, that sounds dramatic, right? That sounds dramatic. Take control of it. Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. Hell, they only need to occupy it long enough for the fleet to get in there, and then they'd have a shot at the tower. But then the tower obviously could shoot at the fleet. Ah, now that's an adventure, right? How do they solve that? I don't know. In two ways for us to go here. We can either make it so that it's easier, it's a dam, and they just have to blow it up. Or we can make it Mission Impossible, and they have to do two things at once. You have to occupy the lock and guarantee a way for the four fleet to sail upriver. This isn't the adventure background. This is kind of the adventure pitch. I don't know. We'll get there. Hang on. Books. We don't know. We don't know what they are yet. So I apologize if I'm just staring at chat right now, but that is sort of what I'm doing. The fantasy, Magnus says, the fantasy dwarf answer is just massive river locks. The whole section of river able to lift or lower the whole fleet at once. 2 gates being miles apart. Yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking. I'm not thinking those small locks. No. This is gargantuan, like artifice. I think they just need to open it. They just need to open the first gate, get the fleet in, the whole fleet, and then close it. They have to hold. That's it. King of the hill, right? Great, love it. Don't need this anymore. Delete. So hang on. The only way the army can I think it's just one lock. Hang on, let's go in here, move the S, delete the file. There might be an Obsidian expert in chat who's telling me there's a better way of doing this, but I don't like having the links exist if they're completely empty. If there's something in them, I don't mind them existing, but if they're completely empty, I delete them. Clearing the way for the 4th fleet to sail into the lock and providing as the 6th and 7th divisions of the army. It's just one huge lock. Now, I haven't looked at chat for a while. Are they rebelling? Capture and operate the giant lock all at the same time. Yeah. So the first and second gates of the locks would be really far apart. Yeah. Literally, I think they, when they look down the river, they would just see, look down, I'll do it this way so you can see. They look down the river, they would just see tiny little towers over the horizon, which would be where the other gate is. They can get the entire fleet into the lock. Anthony writes fantasy, is asking if I'm prepping to publish or run. Magnus has already answered. This is just to run. I am going to make a messy version of this adventure. And it's not going to be clean. It's going to be for me. And my point isn't to show you how to write an adventure to publish. My point is to show you can just sort of write some stuff down and run it. Now, obviously, I've already written 280 words. But they don't have to be, hang on, 230 words. If you've ever done any writing, you know the writing is rewriting. Are the boats armed? Yes, the boats have, these are huge Age of Sail gunships. They have cannons. The Atroxians are experts at gunpowder and progress. Unlike just about anybody else, the Atroxians have mastered gunpowder and more modern military tactics. So what they do is they are going to bombard the crap out of these dwarves. What kind of ships do the dwarves have? The dwarves, I think, are poor in terms of ships. There is a whole section of there's a different continent of dwarves. They have ironclads, right? Like tanks on water. These guys don't have that. They are a different nation of dwarves. They don't have that technology. The gates totally have cool names. Yes, we're not going to do the gates cool names yet. That's not yet. Keep that thought in front of your mind, though, Arthur. I think one giant river gate would be better. A giant lock would be incredibly inefficient. Nah. Dwarves figured it out. They did something weird. Dwarves in my world have tamed volcanoes. They have done some crazy stuff. I think they could figure out a river gate. So, cool ideas. Listen, what we've done now is we have talked a lot about how the adventure starts. And I think that's great. I don't think I could make any progress without having this down here. But if you remember what I said at the beginning, I said that we need 3 nights to prep this adventure. Night 1, the premise. Night 2, the outline. Night 3, the first session. So I think we have enough here to stop worrying about the first session. I think we can leave that in this state until we get to night 3. What we need to do now is we need to figure out the grand plots that the dwarves are working on, right? So the dwarves make crazy things. They make things. The dwarves in my setting are described by a whole bunch of words. Hang on. I wrote this down a little bit ago. I don't know where it is. Dwarves. Sometimes I just make a link and then I can click it. This is not a finished article. Hang on. Many words can accurately describe dwarves from an outside perspective. Brash, tough, industrious, or wise, but one continues to be the greatest description of them thus far: creative. My dwarves love making things. So, can they tame an entire river with one lock? You bet your ass some dwarves get really excited about taming the entire river. Yeah, Salka's right. So the mods here, if you don't know, folks, the mods here are my players, and if they're answering your questions, that's them answering on my behalf. Salka is absolutely correct. The Atroxians are stronger in ships. The greatest navy of the world is the Atroxians. So this gate is like an actual elevator, not pumping water in, just raise the river floor. That might well be the case. Yeah. So what we're gonna think about, Blue Revolt. Yeah, exactly. We need to go think about what the dwarves are up to, because I formatting it. After taking the lock, expeditionary group discovers a case of Karen military missives from a Karen communications officer. Probably dead, but Karen communications officer. I assume the players are going to kill that person as they take the lock. If not, we'll figure that out when we get there. So, as you notice, we're writing most of this into one page. The power of Obsidian is that you can link all these things, and I could now go and write about Marek Shores or Velatros River. Actually, let's write about the Velatros River Walk, just because we've said a whole bunch of things. The Velatros River is controlled by a piece of arcane artifice created by the Karen dwarves. It is let's say it's a 6-mile wide section of the river they can raise or lower at will. Terrible. I've said river a lot here. It's a terrible sentence. 6 mile wide section of the river they can raise or lower it well to control. David Plays Gaming says it's a good storytelling effect to describe how massive and thick those gates are to hold back all the water. Yeah. Yeah, 6 mile long. Yeah, I think you're right. I think we should have a fight on that thing. I think there's a whole fortification on it, and we're gonna draw the lock when we play the adventure. The communications they get should use a cipher. Maybe. We just did a whole bunch of ciphers in a mega game recently. That's why I dyed my hair for the mega game. We did a whole bunch of ciphers. I don't know that I'd reuse that, but ciphers are cool. Okay, Salka wants to solve a cipher. Salka wants to solve a cipher is the answer. She I don't know. I don't know if she'll enjoy that. Enjoy not being there to solve the cipher. Raise lowered will to control. Control ship access to Orgard. Orgard, that's the one. Cool. That's it. We're gonna leave it there. Hang on, Star Bastions. I apologize if my keyboard is loud. I see people are complaining about it. Or maybe they like that it click-clacks. I don't know. This is probably my keyboard. It's the louder keyboard in the room. So what are they doing? A new weapon? Yeah. Yeah, they're doing something. Try to split the atom. No. No, they're magic. Atroxian's tech, Dwarves magic. I live for the click-clack. It's immersive. Yeah. Slanted and pointed walls? I don't know how to describe this. You know what? I'm not feeling it. I'm gonna delete this and I'm gonna not worry about it right now. Trying to split the magic atom. Morpheus, you're joking, but what is the magic equivalent to trying to split the atom? You know the answer to this, right? What is the magic equivalent to trying to split the atom? Magic is old. Magic is ancient. Magic, you go digging. You go find something. They've got a myth. They've got some kind of ancient story that they're chasing after, and they're trying to figure out how to chase down this artifact, this ancient, the wish spell, right? They're trying to get a Tarask, a meteor swarm. They're trying to not a spell necessarily, but some kind of ritual, right? Something old and scary. The world's core. They obviously delved too deep. You get a reward, Max Shore. That's correct. The dwarves found something. The dwarves found something. They found what they were looking for. What were they looking for? I don't know. Let's make a new header. Let's call it What Are the Dwarves? Let's call them the Venkarans. Up to. Waking a sleeping titan. Yes! Yes! They are waking, sleeping Titan. They are, somebody suggested reanimating. You know what? Reanimating an ancestor is something they've already done, where it's too late to stop, because that way we get to fight the mini. But what is the lose condition? Here's the thing. Oh, hang on. You guys are all spitting ideas. Remind me to tell you about the lose condition. Philosopher's Stone in the volcano. The dwarves that tamed the volcano are different dwarves, so sadly no. Magic nuclear fusion. Magic, Jacob Kennedy, magic nuclear fusion. Magic, unlike, somebody mentioned arcane earlier, unlike an arcane, in my world, magic tends to be set in stone. It is old and we rediscover parts of it, but it is constantly getting weaker. Technology, meanwhile, is advancing forward. That is the story of these two elements in my world. Magic started strong the long ages ago. The age of myth and wonder. The age of grace. And then these things dwindle and die. And at the same time, tech has always been kind of useless. But it is becoming stronger and stronger all the time. And we now live at the intersection of where magic and tech are equal. Helm of Tarrasque control. Like a Tarrasque is a cool idea. Yeah. Titan power. They found Taliaeus. Something they found too deep. What is Taliaeus? Taliaeus is, this is a reference to another campaign we're running in this campaign. Well, Magnus is running this campaign. I'm playing in it. And Taliaeus is a Titan. I'm sure Magnus will come and chat and tell us a little bit about it. So are the guns on a similar level to the arcane? Yeah. The guns are really good. Guns in my setting, they do 2 dice of damage. They are powerful. So, yeah. A kaiju thing is always a fun lose condition. Yeah, so, I run a bunch of campaigns in the same world. This will be the 70th adventure I run in this one, or campaign I run in this one setting. And because it's a short adventure, I want there to be a lose condition. When it gets time to the final fight, I'm going to structure the final fight so that it's so tough that the players might all die. They might TPK. And that is going to be evident to the players. I'm going to tell them, listen, it's a final fight, they might all TPK. So I need to be prepared. What happens if the expeditionary force fails? What happens to the world? When we go back, when we are done with this adventure, and we go play our next session of our main game that is set 27 years later, a fact just changed in our mind. That fact is what the dwarves did during the last war. The last war is set 27 years in the past from my current game. We're gonna make an adventure set in the past, 27 years ago. So the dwarves are doing something. This is not the cool ideas we did earlier. The gyrocopters, the river locks, the word of mass destruction. Those are all things the dwarves are up to. Maybe it is the word of mass destruction. I don't know. I think it's a Titan. So yeah, there's a lose condition to the adventure, and if the players lose, then at some point, somewhere along the way, there's going to be another adventure set in Venkara, and they're going to have to be dealing with that Titan. Now I know the new monster manual has a bunch of cool Titans in it, right? There is a Colossus. Hang on. Isn't there a magic item that tells us this? Let's go have a look at D&D Beyond. That does mean having to contend with their search function, which I don't like. And I'll make sure not to stream D&D Beyond, because otherwise the bad guys from Red Dead Redemption 2 might come after me. What's more scary than something you know, something you don't? That's right, Cookie Dude. They don't find out, but they know something really bad is going to happen. I think the phrase, a dwarf message saying, "We found him," "We found it," or something like that, I think that's going to... Elemental Titan. I need the monster manual yesterday. Yes, I agree. I cannot wait any longer. What's it called? A Blob of Annihilation. Here it is. The Scroll of Titan Summoning. Here it is. This is not in the basic rules, so if the Pinkertons come for me, you'll know why. There's a magic item in the new DMG called the Scroll of Titan Summoning, and on it there's a Tarask, and they've updated the Tarask. He's been freed, says old Dev Bless. Yes, he has been freed. Yes, that's cool. And now you can really see how bad the headset crop is. Anyway, you can see there is an Empyrean. It's a Titan on here. These are all new CR30 monsters, I think, in the new monster manual. I don't know. That's the consensus online. Animal Lord, Blob of Annihilation, Colossus. Dwarves have a Colossus. Empyrean? No, I associate Empyrean with the heavens. I think Colossus, rather than the Blob of Annihilation. What is the Blob of Annihilation? I wish I knew. I would love to figure that out. It's staring back. I don't think he's been freed. He can be freed. The invaders will perish. Dan, an Empyrean is a celestial. It's like a god. It's like Hercules or something. Can we get a name for this guy? Can we call him? Hang on. Not a name. Dwarven SCP. Yes. Yeah. What is? Oh, here's the other keyboard clack. We both love clacky keyboards in this household. That's lovely. Call him Kevin. No. Listen. It's not a name. Obviously, Kevin is hilarious. He can be freed. It is not. What's the? It's like. It's gotta be Lovecraftian. It's like he who lives in the dark is terrible, but like that. He who skulks beneath the earth. You know what I mean? Come on, be serious. This is Kingmaker. Yes, Dan, you get it. They have been decoding an ancient magical text to awaken the Titan. Decoding is great. That's very World War II coded. I love that. He who ate the earth. He who eats the earth. Sounds like a spirit from the board game Spirit Island. Actually, that's perfect. If the Atroxians were in Spirit Island, they'd be the colonizers. It which slumbers. Shaker of mountains. Containment breach written in Dwarven runes is a terrifying thought. That's, yes, great. Thank you, random person. He who, hang on. Who lies beneath the earth shall be freed. He who sunders the realms, he who stains the earth red, the devourer of bronze. We're not naming him Kevin. No, come on guys, be serious, this is Kingmaker. He who lies beneath the earth can be freed, the invaders will perish. The Unmaker. Oh, yes! What is this thing? We don't know. All we know is it is bad news. The Unmaker. Yeah. Alright. That is what the Venkarans are up to. They are decoding the ancient tablets to release the Unmaker. Ah, the Nameless Stone. That's great, yeah. I think we got it. Containment breach written in Dwarven runes. Excellent. So, what they find at the dam... What they find at the dam is not this, right? Can't be, right? That's too soon. It's too soon. Session 1 is too soon for the Unmaker. Session 1, however, is a perfect time for the Dwarves' secret base. The Dwarven equivalent of Area 51. What is that? What's that about? The Nameless Stone. Surely they'd have named it. Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're right. Long-term nuclear containment message. Emily Mitchell, that is a fantastic idea. Yes. Yeah, just like skulls and, you know, with the pointy symbols. I cannot type. Alright. There's an actual message? A real message? Hang on. Long-term nuclear containment messages. Because there are a bunch of these, right? If the Unmaker is the reason the Venkarans no longer live underground, their Area 51 could be where they emerged originally and sealed the passages behind them. Wow. Yes, that's awesome. So there is something, there is Dwarf Area 51, where the Venkarans emerged originally. They sealed it behind them. This is not a place of honor. Yeah. I love this kind of spy fiction, modern terror. Welcome, Agile Monk. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, this kind of modern fantasy. You know, I made a whole D&D campaign based off of how I got excited when I was got inspired when I was reading about the what's it called? Manhattan Project. I love the idea of finding modern, holy shit, Agile Monk. Thank you so much. Oh my god. I love the idea of finding modern, blown away, modern stories, modern problems, and finding a way to put them into our fantasy and under the gaze of this kind of, the bridge, right, between fantasy and modern, whatever. So now we've got Titan, but we're using nuclear containment language, right? This is not a place of honor. That's awesome. Thanks so much, Agile Monk. Yeah, welcome along. Obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, if you become a channel member for it's like $2 a month or whatever, you can join our Discord, where me and AB, my girlfriend who runs this channel with me, along with all our players, some of whom are moderators in chat right now, some of whom will play this adventure. They're all on there. They're all talking about D&D or whatever. We have a special chat where everyone posts pictures of their dogs and cats called Familiars. That's my favorite chat. My second favorite chat is called Craft Brags, where a couple of folks are posting pictures of things they 3D print and paint for their games. Rob Human and Dapper Dan have been very active in there along with Cosmo. The three of them are just constantly showing off these awesome builds that really make me want to get into 3D printing. I have to go figure out what Dwarf Area 51 is. What is it called? Where it is. How old is the undead guy? Does he remember the ceiling of the unmaker? Giannis, that is brilliant. Yes. .3D printing is a whole hobby in and of itself. Yeah. Yeah, but be pretty cool if I did it though. Dwarvenheimer, love it. Sold. Let's ship that. Where did you make it? This I did in Photoshop. I wish I had an answer, which was that there's an app and I did it all in there. This I did in Photoshop over the course of several months and years probably. I'm constantly editing this and coming back to it. I have a bunch of brushes and I jotted down trees and mountains and all that. And it's still not responding. We'll give it a minute. There we go. How did I print it? My dad owns a printing business and I told him, Dad, please, I want a big map. And being Daddy's favorite boy, he gave me a big map. The undead soldiers be opposed to the use of the unmaker. Yeah, right? Right? Probably. That's probably a different faction. So I think whatever this is, it can't be too far away from here. But then Eldax all the way up here. It would take them days. They'd have to go out of their way. Maybe that's all right. Desert dwarves? Maybe. I used Incarnate in the past, says Galaxy Fox Night Sky. Yeah, I use Incarnate a lot for town maps. It's a lot of fun. Undead upper echelon guarding the area. Yeah, that's cool. I think there is a keep in these mountains. This is a mountain range. You could tell by the way the border is squiggles, like little peaks. There's supposed to be a mountain range here. I think there is a fortress in these mountains. A secret hidden fortress that nobody knows about. Except, like, Dwarven Military High Command. And that is where the Unmaker is buried. There are myths about this place. They call it Homeland or Homeworld, or, you know. They call it something like that, right? Something evocative of home. And there are myths about that place, and it's got this kind of storied mythology about it. But the dwarves found it, and the undead faction, whoever they are trying to stop it. It's so old and so important, it must be a religious site. Giannis, you're on a roll. I love it. Yes. The Unhome. No, Joel. Pallet Fields, Muldara. Yeah. That's cool. I think we need a different header. I think this is a unmaker. I have, if any of you have ADHD, hang on, sorry, you now you have to endure a recommendation you didn't ask for. If any of you have ADHD, I recommend, there's this thing called Grenred Productions. They do productivity music. I cannot work without this, so I'm literally just going to tell you, if you have this kind of stuff, and if you don't like this song I'm about to send you all, go check out other songs from these people. I find the rhythm helps me think. I'm not diagnosed with ADHD. I'm diagnosed with just a fun little splash of autism, but this one helps me a lot, and I know it's helping other people who struggle with. What was I saying? Sorry. Sleeping Volcano, that's where it's kept. Maybe. Unmaker, hang on. Dwarf Area 51. There is an undead dwarf tomb. That's your first place. I don't think it's a religious site. I think it's taboo. I think it's, there's some taboo about it. If it wouldn't make my players giggle, I'd say it's like a sewage treatment plant or something, right? What kind of titan was the Unmaker? We don't know. Maybe a colossus, like an earth titan. The Blight. Yes. Yes. This is the Blight. I think it's something Blight, but the Blight. Why is it the Blight? It is said there's a door to Dwarven Hell there. I think it's even more. I think they would have been careful to not make it sound like cults could do something with it, right? If you live in a fantasy world that's full of cults and devil worshippers and all these things, and you say there's a door to hell, not much of people are going to go see if there's a door to hell. So what you want to say is, if you step on the ground there, your toes rot off. You want to say the air cannot be breathed. The dwarves, they poisoned it. They ruined this area. Hang on, I need some. I need goat juice. Titan rots everything around it. It is only death. A very boring name. I think Blight's okay. Blighted Peaks. The Blighted Peaks. Yeah. That's what it is. Blighted Peaks. Thank you. Blood Breather. Whoa. Blood Breather. The Blighted Peaks. Awesome. Where are they? North. Well, just sort of west. I'll learn how to spell one day, I promise. Thank God I don't do this for a living. Or guard. That's where we dumped all our mutagenic flux debris. Yeah. Must have more guard. There lies. I think it's like, is air poisonous, right? Let's do geysers. Venomous poison? Is that a sentence? I don't know. Why is the Titan sleeping? Because they killed it. The dwarves killed it. They sealed it. It is its tomb. Blight Keep? I don't know. That's terrible. Let's go visit our friend, not Emily, our other friend, the Saurus. No, a castle. Hold. Blight hold. That's not bad. Suddenly I just ran out of water in my mouth. Venomous poison is just venom. Venomous gas? The air is thick with a venomous gas? Let's do that. That's fine. Blighted stronghold? Sometimes, you know, the amount of time I just spend looking at synonyms. Palace, no. The Blighted Citadel? That's so fancy. What's an Alcazar? No. Blighted Tower. Blight cards? I think Blighted Tower. Naming things, yes. Blighted Citadel. I think just Blighted Tower. It's the right kind of boring. Do you know what I mean? Blighthold, Blightridge, Blighthold. The whole tower itself is the seal. That's very dwarf, right? Why was it this shape? They had a reason. See ya, Galaxy Fox. Thanks for joining us. Let's say the Blighted Tower. Blighthold, Blightspire, these all sound like proper names. I don't think there's a name. I think there's a tower in the Blight. It's the Blighted Tower. The Blighted Blight that blights. You got it, Morpheus. Da-da. Sometimes I tag words when I repeat them, sometimes I don't. I wish I had a method for that, but I kind of go more by vibes than anything else, and don't worry about it. Guard sounds more like name of a kingdom. Yeah, I don't think it's a name. I think it's just, this is a tower, it is blighted, it is the Blighted Tower. If they had a name, it makes it important. They're hiding it, so it's just a tower. be not the Wonderdark, the Underdark. What do they call it? Landfall? Tower in the Blight. Yeah. So, when the dwarves come into Ornithon, I think there are myths about, does landfall make sense? Like that you use landfall when you come off a ship, right? Landfall meaning landfall. Arrival at land by sea or air journey. You know, I think that's fine. Alright, let's restructure. Let's restructure this. This is a mess. There are many myths about Vinkara landfall, but the truth is the Blighted Tower. No. This is badass. I love this. I think we're done on that one. I think we need to know more about the, well, I think we're fine on the unmaker for now. So, alright. I was looking this up earlier. The creator. Make sure I get my facts here right. Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park, say that you do not have a premise until you've got sentences connected by the words but, therefore, and then. So we've got here a plot, right? Step one of making an adventure. What do the bad guys want? Bad guys are going to go against the wishes of their ancestors. Even undead are against this, right? They go against the wishes of their ancestors to release something called the unmaker. He who lies beneath the earth can be freed. The invaders will perish. They're literally going to awaken a sleeping titan. And the good guys, the Atroxian special forces, the expeditionary group, is going to stop them. Now, they do not know. They do not know where exactly. They don't know what is going on. They don't know what they're going into right now. Right. Let's put this into practice. The expeditionary group is assigned to take control of the Melatros Riverlock, and then, or hang on, but when they find secret Dwarven war plans, they realize they must Right? They must race against the clock. There's a ticking timeline. Going against the ancestors' wishes. That goes in the book. Yeah, Book of Grudges, right? They got a Book of Grudges. Gotta have. Joel says, if it's the first time these dwarves have seen the sky, I feel like that would be a pretty significant moment. Maybe as a clue, the unmaker slumbers, the home of first sky. That's cool. That goes into Venkaran landfall. The home of first sky. That is not the blighted. That is the Blighted Tower, but it is not what people think of when they talk about the Blighted Tower, right? But that is the story, the Venkaran landfall story. They don't know where the place is, but they all know this myth about somewhere out there is the home of first sky, right? Therefore, stop. And the Atroxian troops and the rest of the Venkaran people before it's too wrong, it's too late. That's our logline, folks. That's our premise. The expeditionary group is assigned to take control of the Belatros River Lock, but when they find secret Dwarven war plans, they realize they must therefore stop the Venkarans from wreaking havoc on the Atroxian troops and the rest of the Venkaran people before it's too late. Now we know there's this bit about the lock. We know the home of first sky. There's this myth. Anna Julia, yes, this will be on a VOD later if you want to check it out. Taking the lock expedition when current military missives from a these Dwarven war plans, this is important. The dwarves are going to awaken the Titan, even though it's probably going to hurt their own people. Right? They don't care. The Dwarven High Command is cruel and vindictive. So I wanna start to figure out, since this is a standalone adventure, I think we're going to change gears a bit. Since this is a standalone adventure, that means we're playing. My ideal number would be like 6, maybe 8 sessions. It could be as many as 10. I think that's probably too much. But that means that I think it's probably best for me and best for my players if I do a little bit of work to make sure that their characters will eventually fit in with the story, right? We've been talking as if we know, or I've been thinking as if I know that they're going to make these expeditionary characters, right? This expeditionary group. I do not know if they're going to do that. unprompted, right? I have a certain idea about what members of the Atroxian expeditionary group are like. I have certain expectations about what kind of characters would be good for that. I don't know that left to their own devices, players are going to do that. So what I need to do is I need to prepare a message to send those folks. I have a handful of players in mind. I think we're going to make 6 sort of character templates. We're not going to make their characters for them, right? There are these 6 character templates, and I kind of want to figure out. Who they are. Now I've done pre-made characters. I have in the past I have done adventures like this, and I've made pre-made characters and I've given them to the players, and that works in getting us to play fast. Works in getting us to play fast. But what it doesn't do is it kind of tends to hinder us when we want to play for a long time. At a certain point, there's this barrier between the player and the character if there's a lot pre-made already, and the players sometimes feel like this isn't my character. You know, if I say your name is this and you have this class, you have this backstory, that tends to sort of bump up against the players. So a pre-made is mostly good when it's an empty character sheet, or the way I like to do it is I don't make the character, I make the job they have. So for this, we are going to make 6 characters, right? Right now I'm just going to do a little bit of formatting here. Characters 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's the thing. Let's not say high level, but they are. They are high level. They're 9th. They're 13th level. They're high level characters. I know how to type. There we go. They are not spellcasters. They are not spellcasters. If there is a spellcaster, it's one person and they're a half-caster. But the fantasy of Atroxia to me is tech, right? It's this kind of technological advancement, that kind of thing. The fantasy of this adventure is tech meets magic. And in the case of the dwarves, it turns out there are titans that are slumbering, right? So it's new tech meets old magic. So I think we want to figure out what the group is like. And I think right now I just need to know there is a commander, there's somebody in charge of this. There is presumably a sniper, demolitions expert, somebody who does close quarters combat. People are saying artificer, warlock. Those are all spellcasters, guys. If here's the thing, if the players all play spellcasters, or if there are many spellcasters in the group, then we lose out on a lot of the possibilities for them to feel like outsiders in a dwarven environment. They are landing on dwarven shores. They don't know what's going on. They have no intelligence about what's further inland. The expeditionary group doesn't know about the Unmaker, about the Home of First Sky. They don't know about the Blighted Tower. They know nothing. And they're the experts, right? They know nothing. And then the army's going to go over to them and go, you guys are the experts. How does this work? So we have to figure out what are the non-spellcasting classes that I think kind of work for this. And I think there should be suggestions in here. The players are going to make their own character. They're going to make their own character. They're going to give them names. They're going to pick their class. They're going to pick their feats. They're going to do all that. But I think we should nudge them in a certain direction. We've already done that here. So I want to know. There is the commander, right? Thank you, Peakwix. Thanks so much for tuning in, and thank you for your generosity earlier. That was spectacular. You probably need a translator or dwarven emissary to get info then. Yeah, and I think that should be something they need to do. Backgrounds pre-made. They can make their own backgrounds as far as I'm. Gabe Treetold says a brain, a brawn, a stealth. Now this reminds me of an archetype that I've talked about many times with my players. They say that in a band, in a boy band or any other band, there are 5 archetypes. There's the leader. Icelandic letters. Lancer, brain, brawn, heart. Now, when I tend to do these kind of pre-made characters, I tend to look at lists like that, and I tend to think who can easily serve what role. Now, a lot of folks in here are sending great ideas. Commander, demolition, medic, infiltrator, face. Yeah, somebody else said close quarters combatant, CQC. Battle master would be a good commander type. Ranger is a half caster, but I think the flavor works. I think you might be right. I might be willing to compromise on a ranger. I'm less likely to compromise on a paladin, but a warlock that can smite, I might be able to make my peace with. Researcher, historical scholar, combat engineer, extra stealthy infiltrator. Hang on, I'm just scrolling up chat here a bit. Argue with the leader, maybe. Lancer butts head with the leader. Yeah, exactly. So, Han Solo is the typical Lancer. Hang on. Hey, let's do... Sorry. Let's do... do I have to play the clip of YouTube scolding me again? Get your leader, your Lancer, your brain. Hang on. Luke. We don't have to write these down. You got Luke, Han, Obi-Wan, Chewie, Leia. Right? Then you got a secret third tier going, also present. The droids, right? You could do this with just about any sort of, you can do, the Avengers? What are the Avengers here? Hawkeye is the heart. Hulk. Lancer's got to be Tony. Leader's Cap. Brain. Is Brain Scarjo? No. I don't know. So what you do is you can line these. Hang on. Can you see any of this? Leader, Lancer, Brain, Brawn, Heart. Right? Lean in front of them. Anyway. There. You're telling me C3PO isn't the heart? Hulk may actually be the brain. Yeah. Yeah, brain is Bruce. Yeah, you're right. Banner. Tony, Steve, Banner. I mean, Widow is Brawn. Barton's the heart. If we're going with the 2012 movie. And then also present, Nick Fury. Thor. Maybe Thor is the brawn. Anyway, you get what I mean. So we got our commander. Why do I have numbers in here? We know what number they are. We can see where they are on the page. Lean back so you can see this. So we need our Lancer. Now our Lancer is going to have an official job here, right? Our Lancer is going to have an official job. They're going to be the Sergeant. Because the Sergeant's job is to argue with the Commander. Maybe the Commander is the Lieutenant. Yes, I know that's not... I know Lieutenant, but this is how I read it. No, I'm going to make Commander Sergeant. Maybe Commander Lieutenant? I don't know. I can spend forever looking at words that mean basically the same thing. TMNT is a good example of 5-man band. Yeah, I assume it would be. I don't know them by heart, so demo, yeah, hang on. Demolitions. Sniper. Close quarters combat. Demolition, sniper, close quarters combat. Who am I missing? Sapper. What does a sapper do? Is that like tree? Sapper. Combat engineer. Right, of engineering duties, breaching, fortifications, dem. Well, is that any different from the demolitions? Medic. There it is. Alright, let's call demolitions the sapper. Medic. Can we get a scout? I think they're all the scout, Emily. Right, they're all... Well, maybe one of them sort of has to be the one that goes running inside. Maybe that's the Sarge. Is there a better single word here we can get for soldier, handsman, brawler? Commander, sergeant, sapper, sniper, brawler, medic, right? CQC is clearly a monk. Yeah, CQC could absolutely be a monk. You could also have the be a barbarian. Scout sounds like they would be good at stealth. That's true, Kate. Here's the thing. I think we need to... This is eventually a bit of text that I'm going to send to my players on Discord. I've already reached out to people and asked, hey, do you want to play in this sometime this spring? And gotten a thumbs up from everybody except one person who said, maybe. Don't text me. But what I want to do is I want to tell them some restrictions. When I play a long campaign, I don't do this as much. I might say a long campaign and say, here's a restriction or two. But when I'm playing a standalone adventure, I often say, these are, if you are a member of the and that means you have, and then these are the restrictions. No spellcasting. Proficiency in stealth, right? We can add anything we want here. Hidalgo says, I don't agree with the first two. It says the grade, not what they do. I think this is the lieutenant. I think I disagree. So here's the thing. I think what's going to happen when I send this to my players, a handful are going to latch onto sapper, sniper, brawler, medic. They're going to say, ooh, I know exactly what I'm doing. I want to do that. And they need proficiency in firearms. That's right, Kate. Yeah, thanks. Not martial weapons, firearms. Firearms are a special category of weapons in my world. I have my own homebrew firearm rules. They are not martial weapons, they are their own category. What if I give them specific anti-magic counters to make the magic feel like the enemy? Yes, good idea. They all have a lead wave. I'll tell you about a lead wave in a second, but first I'm going to answer Hidalgo. When I send this to my players, the 4 jobs are going to jump out at them, and some of them are going to go, I want to do that job, I want to do that job. What's good about the ranks at the top is they tell you what they do in the unit. Now, just because there is a sniper doesn't mean the others can't snipe. Just because there's a brawler doesn't mean they can't all do some CQC. Just because there's a medic doesn't mean they might, multiple of them might have the healer feat or something. But this might inspire people in a different way than these phrases here. And I think their job matters in that regard, right? Because they can pick any class with almost any of these, right? So, what's a lead wave? Hang on, does this work? No. Tragic. Well, I will leave it. A lead wave is a device that exists in my world. It's technically a wondrous item because that's how the rules of D&D want me to talk about it. But it's a rare piece of tech that when rung, it's like a horseshoe. It's like a metal horseshoe, and when rung, it vibrates at a frequency that makes anyone lose concentration. So if you are nearby a lead wave, you cannot cast spells and you don't have concentration. So everyone should have equipped one of those. They can read this thing and it makes out this noise, and that'll drop enemy concentration on spells. My players have had to face these as when the enemies have them a lot of times, they're probably going to enjoy getting to use the lead wave themselves. Klaus Olesen, I'm aware that there is another spelling for lieutenant, but in my setting, that is how they spell it. Because I don't know, I had to be contrarian for some reason. Commander. Anna is correct. It is automatic. You just lose concentration. Random person, we already have medic. Right there. Reminder in encounter building to use a mage. Yeah, you gotta shoot your monks. Absolutely. You gotta shoot your monks. So, go with the Norwegian Leutnant. No, they end on the upward Leutnant. Right? I'm sorry, I'm making fun of. Listen, they're Scandinavians. I'm Icelandic. We're loud, right? I don't know what I write in the rest of these. Hang on, let's not get too quick. Right, you all watched Chain of Acheron, right? You all know the difference between a commander and a lieutenant. I shouldn't. You should all know this. The commander is the strategist. They say what has to be done, and the lieutenant is the tactician. They decide how they're going to do it. What do you want written in them? It says Dan. Dan, they need to be. They need to be evocative enough. They need to be short, brief, evocative enough that the players who receive this immediately understand. Oh, this one appeals to me. This one doesn't. When no, left out. Maybe an example of this from Splendor would help, says Anna. That is a very good suggestion. So I'm running another adventure, which is a detective mystery in Waterdeep. I ran a session yesterday, and I'm running 2 next week. And in it, hang on, Anna and Salka, you have to look away. You can't look now. Stand by. You have to look away. Hang on, I could have just brought up Discord. Anyway. What I wrote is these sections for them. You're a magistrate working for the Grand Judiciary. Your job is a special rank within the justice system. I wrote these little blurbs that each of them, just tell you this is what your job is. Each of them then made the characters all on their own, but I had to write these little blurbs so they knew what their job was going to be. I didn't come up with a name. That's something they came up with on their own. These little blurbs I wrote all by myself and sent over to them. And then they could have a look at that, they could get inspired, they could decide which one they wanted to be, and then make a character and then send it back to me. Alright, I'm going to close this. Salkanana, you are welcome to look back at the stream. Hang on. I think we want to put the sapper below the brawler. I don't know why. I cannot explain my reasoning here, but what if the commander is also specialist in local customs, some other critical aspect of the mission? No, the commander is not the liaison. The commander is like a military veteran. The Atroxians are an aristocratic, classist society. So the commander is probably privately educated, went to a fancy school, knows how to dine with the right utensils in the right way. They have fork mannerisms, that kind of stuff. Only a small fraction of soldiers make good snipers. Not because of how difficult it is to aim a firearm, but because of how difficult it is to kill an unarmed individual. You were selected without pawns. The sniper is cold. They are smooth. They breathe smooth. They don't feel. If they feel, they fail. They have to be kind of a sociopath. Otherwise, you can't do that job. Brawler. Here's the description. I'm gonna put the brawler last, actually. Now that I've seen it. When things go horribly wrong for the expeditionary group, and they're engaged in melee combat, you are their last line of defense. Now here's the thing with the brawler. I think that's a pretty good description of what they do, right? If things go horribly wrong, the brawler needs to protect the little squishies called the expeditionary group. As in, they probably should be a tank, right? Probably should be a barbarian. However, if the adventure is, if you do a good job, the brawler never gets to play the ND. That's not great. So, what else is the brawler really good at? Maybe the brawler is the scout. Maybe the brawler is good at reading maps, right? Maybe they have another job. Do I run any campaigns in other systems? I've run some adventures, a little. Whenever I have to learn a board game, I get really frustrated. Whenever I have to learn new systems, I get really frustrated. On occasion, I tough through it, and I have a lot of fun in loads of other systems. Not as many as I probably should do to be properly cultured, but I really like having all of my campaigns happen in the same world. And I really like crossing over, creating crossovers. So I think it's, I like the virtue that 5th edition is fairly bland as a system. It's fairly boring, if we're honest. I think that's kind of a virtue for me to run games like this one, and games like the one in Waterdeep, and games like whatever else I want to do. That is kind of the 5th edition's virtue. So I use it to its full extent. J-Shade, yes, I am choosing to spell Lieutenant that way. It would be really funny if all the members of the team were invaluable. Yeah, I think they probably are. Brawler carries the big gun. Yeah. Yeah. Correct use of its, finally. What big gun do they have? I don't know what that is. But they carry the big gun. Another correct use of its. Man, one of these days I'll learn how to write. Do light machine guns exist? No. Unless it's Gatling gun. I have shown a Gatling gun before. They're typically carried by like horses and stuff. Help seal the unmaker and only they have the strength to use it. I mean, yeah, but they wouldn't know that. They don't know that they're going into that mission. That's going to be the mission that reveals itself. Remember that analogy about James Bond? There's a satellite that's gone down. Go check it out. And only later is he saving the world from nuclear cataclysm. Flamethrower. Could be a flamethrower. What about like a mortar? When did they invent the mortar? Do a lot of this, right? Wikipedia. Earliest version is 1407. China, man. Go look up the history of firearms. It's all China. 1453, Siege of Constantinople. 56, Siege of Belgrade. That's not how you say that. Whoa! Pump-Hot von Steyr. Look at that. Large caliber. What did you want to get pictures of these? Hong Dun Pao. Yeah, these kind of things. Just like a barrel. I don't think it's this. I think it's just like a barrel. Order sounds more like a sapper thing. Yeah, it might be. Somebody's got to carry it. But maybe it should be the sapper. In that case, the barbarian or the brawler has to be the navigator. Alright, I know how to spell. Listen. If God wanted us to spell, he wouldn't have invented spell checker. Are real mortars used by two-man teams? Yeah, absolutely. So I'm gonna erase this. This mortar is probably going to be 2 actions to shoot. 1 to load, 1 to shoot. So if they want to use it every turn, they need to be 2 people. So why, I don't know why the brawler is the map guy. I don't know why. I haven't gotten that far. I need some excuse, I think. Hang on, let's make this a header too. Brawler could have the lead wave? Yeah. That is if it's just one lead wave. Unless they all have lead waves. Hey Dan, thanks for joining in. Good night. Brawler has a great sense of direction using natural science to navigate. Yeah. And the lieutenant be the navigator? Yeah, it could be. I think any of them could navigate. The brawler is the modern breacher. I will give him the shotgun. Yes, Brawler has the blunderbuss. They have the double decker. You're expected to go through all doors first. The double decker is a blunderbuss that is 2 barrels on top of each other, and that's what they shoot with. Blue Rebel asks, do you have custom classes for this setting? Yes. Benjamin Huffman's Scholar has been played at my table several times now, and we have had a lot of fun with it. I am fully expecting whoever plays the medic to play the medic Scholar from Benjamin Huffman. It's available on DM's Guild. It's a lot of fun if you want more non-spellcastery classes. Blunder Bees? Oh no, okay, I fixed it. See ya, Max Shore. Thanks for tuning in. We also have a warlord that we made ourselves that I'm completely expecting either the lieutenant or the commander to use or be. And the warlord can give orders to other people. It can sacrifice their attack so that other people can attack. It's a whole lot of fun. It's kind of this sort of it ends up becoming this mini game of whose actions are the best to use, which feels a lot like playing a warlord. That's a class me and Magnus made together. So I'm completely expecting one of these to be a warlord, scholar. The brawler could end up being a pugilist or a barbarian or a monk. I think the sniper is almost certainly going to be a rogue and do sneak attack and do loads of damage. Asaf, hi, welcome. Thanks so much for becoming a channel member. As a reminder, if you become a channel member, you are able to join in our Discord, and on there people are talking about D&D, and I'm talking about my channel, my setting, more about all of these things. And if you want to ask me any questions, I'm very active on there, along with members, players in my group, and Magnus, the moderator, who's also works alongside me on a whole bunch of these things. See ya, Hidalgo. Thanks for joining. Hey, Emergent GM. Sounds like this has got Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare vibes. Absolutely, yeah, that's totally what's going on. If you guys don't know, Emergent GM is a fellow D&D tuber who is severely underrated. You should absolutely go check out his videos. Salka says, Medic has to have some good Panacea experimental stuff. Yes, you're correct. Panacea is a corporation in my world that makes medicine, battle medicine. They also make chemical weapons. So the medic is actually doing war crimes. They have chemical weapons, and they're doing horrible things. Paulio, welcome to the channel. Hang on, how do I phrase this? So I think the medic is a lot of things. I think they have medicine. I think they also have hang on, I don't know if I can Drug?
I don't like that word.
Sorry, not that word either. Okay, hang on. God. YouTube, man. They have medicines. Stims. Yes, stims. These really are a bunch of Fortress 2 characters. Yeah. Yeah, they are. Absolutely. Yeah, that's funny. Listen, these are a lot of fun. I don't know if they all have a lead wave. That basically means they have 7 anti-magic zones or 6 anti-magic zones. So maybe that's too much. One of them is going to get a lead wave. Maybe 2 of them, right? All right. All right. So what have we done today? I think we've done a really good job. I think as far as the premise goes, we've got it kind of nailed down, right? I think we can be proud of what we've done so far, right? At this rate, we have this map here, this little doodle of a map. Let's make sure to upload up the. Hold on. No, it's getting late. Let's make sure to open this big map here. This is the map on the wall behind me whenever we play D&D. And whenever you're watching a Mystic Arts video, this is the map behind me. Here it is rendered in quite a bit more detail. I'm currently working on adding more detail as I go, and eventually I will reprint this entire map and plaster it over the other one. These purplish lands here, this is the Atroxian Empire. During the last war, which is in the past of my current setting, this whole adventure is set in the past. During the last war, this was the Atroxian Empire. Now it's the Atroxian Republic and more. I can't get into that right now. They are currently invading Venkara, which is this continent of dwarves, and there's a tyrannical dwarf king. I forgot to mention him, but there's a tyrannical dwarf king somewhere, and they are tyrants. They have, hang on. We're gonna reuse the joke one last time? No, it's not. They have unpaid interns. They engage in capturing people and using them for free labor against their will. So they're reprehensible people, or at least the king is, right? Plenty of good dwarves in there, but they are not the bad guys of this adventure. They will feature when we go next week and we do this again. We'll probably get to know a little bit about them as we develop the outline a bit, but we know, hang on, let's not get distracted. What was I talking about? The 6th and 7th Division of the Atroxian Army, that's some 20,000 soldiers, have made landfall in Marak Shores, and the 4th Fleet of the Navy has taken the Halkani Delta. They want to go and conquer Orgard, which is the capital of Venkara. But this river that's going up here, they cannot They cannot cross it, right? There is a massive river lock, literally gates in the river, miles wide, I think 6 miles long. And in order to get through this, the Atroxians have sent the Atroxian Expeditionary Group, a small group of elite soldiers who are going to go and conquer the lock and open it to let the fleet through, and bombard and start sending the 6th and 7th divisions on their way up towards Orgard. Only when they do this, the expeditionary groups discover intelligence, and this intelligence is going to lead them to discover loads of things the dwarves are planning. That includes that there is a Blighted Tower, purportedly the home of First Sky, where the dwarves first came from the Underdark and saw the sky for the first time. And it is now all blighted. There's a venomous gas that surrounds the area. The air is thick with it, and you can't breathe. So what is going to happen is that they're going to have to go into this venomous land. They're going to find the Blighted Tower and discover the Unmaker, this titan the dwarves killed. And the Unmaker is going to rise again. And it is going to bring destruction upon the Atroxian forces and completely stop their invasion effort. But what's worse, it's also going to hurt the people of Ankara. It seems that the Dwarven King and the Dwarven High Command, the Venkaran High Command, have no issue with this. But I'm certain the Expeditionary Group is going to find Dwarven allies. They're going to find Dwarven interpreters. We're going to have to make up a bunch of Dwarven NPCs next time and figure out who these dwarves are that want to help. We're going to have to make up an army dude and a navy dude to make sure that there is a briefing scene at the start of the first session. We are going to have to incorporate these cool ideas into missions, right? Next time we're going to go figure out which of these ideas are which missions and which missions happen in what order, roughly. The players are going to have a bit of leeway on how they do things, but it's kind of going to have to be up to us to develop a structure for the adventure to go from A to B. And for that to be an exciting journey, but a little bit of sandboxing in the middle is okay. And I'm going to send this block of text out to the players, and I'm going to tell them, hey, listen, who do you want to play? What kind of classes are you thinking of? I'm going to ask them to do all their character creation talk in Discord, so they can all chat amongst themselves and say, hey, I'm going to play this class, I'm going to play that class, and I'm going to chime in and say, oh, I'm going to make up some chemical weapons for the medic. I'm going to make up this mortar for the sapper. I'm going to give them rules for that. I'm going to make up the lead wave. I'm going to give it to the brawler. And maybe another one to the lieutenant. And over the course of that process, we will have ended up with a party. And that party has a job, right? There's a premise. The party, the expeditionary group, is assigned to take control of the Velatros River locks. But, remember the story from the South Park creators? But, and then for. But when they find the secret Dwarven war plans, they realize they must therefore stop the Venkarans from wreaking havoc on the Atroxian troops and the rest of the Venkaran people before it's too late. Before the dwarves decode the ancient tablets and release he who lies beneath the earth, the Unmaker. Does that make sense to everybody? Does that sound like we have a premise? I think so. If you are interested in doing this again, part 2 is going to be us developing a outline for this adventure. It is going to be finding out how we turn these cool ideas we have into missions, how those missions are going to be playable. We're not going to go super into detail. We're just going to draw these broad strokes and figure out how we go and give ourselves always the step along the way here is give ourselves a springboard for the next session. With a premise, we have given ourselves a springboard for the outline. When we're done with the outline, we'll give ourselves a springboard for prepping session number 1. And when we run session number 1, we'll have a springboard for every session thereafter, right? So we are going to do part 2 next Saturday at the same time. So that's 9 p.m. GMT. You're going to have to figure out what that means in your in your local times. In between then and now, we'll be releasing a video tomorrow at 3 p.m. GMT, which is going to be about ambushes and how you can use ambushes to start your games with a bang in media res, like they say in the movies. I think that's it for now. Thanks so much for joining, everybody. This has been an exceptional joy. You folks are excellent at coming up with brilliant ideas. I could not have come up with the Unmaker or the Containment Breach or the Blighted Tower or any of these things without you folks. So I'm very happy that you all came along and we were able to make the gyral turret, all these things. So yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you had a blast, because I certainly did. And that's where we're going to pick it up next time. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time.